What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're brand new here, my name is Matt Wacek. I'm the CEO and founder of Landscape Marketing Pros, or digital marketing agency currently doing just over $30,000 in monthly recurring revenue. And I've made my mission to help digital marketing agency owners bypass the headaches, pitfalls, stress, and roadblocks that I encountered trying to build my business, and it ended up taking me way too long. We're talking multiple years to even just get to this point, and I don't want that to happen to you. So in this video, we're going to address some of the things that I actually encountered while trying to get my business off the ground. And so in today's video, we're going to be getting into the 4 biggest mistakes that beginner agency owners make, and this applies whether you sell SEO services, web design, Google pay-per-click, social media marketing, or whatever it is that you do for an agency that provides a service to a business with the focus and intent to bring them more business. These things are all going to apply. Now again, like most of my videos, I'm not going to be jumping around like a dancing monkey as if this is TikTok. It's going to take me 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes to get through this, but I can promise you that by the end of this video, you will have crystal clear clarity on how to avoid these mistakes, so that way you don't have to spend multiple years barely treading water and instead build a profitable agency that's going to give you a nice income every single month. And of course, the most important part, help your clients get really good results and help their businesses grow. Now, briefly before we begin the presentation, I want to address a lot of the questions that have been coming through my Instagram DMs, our Facebook group, here in the YouTube comment section of when am I finally going to open up a formal training program for how I built a multiple 6-figure agency. The wait for that is almost over. And I know I've been dragging this on for a little bit longer than anticipated, but we're going to be doing a special enrollment webinar, and you can jump onto it and sign up for it within the link in the description, as well as in the pinned comment down beneath the video. And so at the end of this video, you want to go down to one of those links, go there, sign up, get registered, and then be signed up for the webinar when we run it. And if you're watching this 1, 2, 6 months, maybe even a year from now, the link to enroll into the course, to the rebroadcast of that webinar where you want to watch end to end and then enroll from there, is going to be linked in the description, as well as the pinned comment. Without further ado, get into the 4 biggest mistakes that beginner agency owners make. So the very first one is going to be using some kind of crazy complicated software like Go High Level. I know that's huge within the agency space. I tried it, and my agency does website SEO, review syndication, and then Google pay-per-click ads. It was the biggest waste of time ever. I can accomplish way more with just a basic Elementor site and a couple different softwares rather than fumbling around with all that stuff. But I think the vast majority of people promote it because of the fact that they have a good affiliate program, and they probably don't even have an agency because they're a fake guru. Just saying. And the same thing with ClickFunnels too. ClickFunnels is actually a really good software. I use it for my personal brand because it works really good for email opt-ins and that sort of stuff, and like webinars and everything else. But you can accomplish these things with a WordPress website in a very basic setup. It's not really necessarily the software, it's the messaging that's what's going to convince somebody to want to book a call with your agency. And then when you actually talk with them through Zoom, that's what's going to get you paid. Having this complicated Go High Level, all these email autoresponders and conversion rate optimizations, all this stuff out there, you're just spending thousands of dollars every single month blindly, and it's not going to get you any further along than a basic WordPress website with Elementor that costs, I don't know, $50 a year or $200 a year, whatever, for the hosting and the software. Zoom for $15 a month, Calendly for $15 a month, and then using spreadsheets and documents, and then maybe some call tracking once you have clients coming in, and then of course like website hosting and so forth. Most of those things are absolutely not needed. In the very beginning, I was thinking, oh, I need SEO software. I need to be able to do all these things. You do not need any of those things, especially SEO software, like checking backlinks and that sort of stuff, until you have clients paying you. So bottom line, don't overcomplicate things. If you're trying to get started, you don't even necessarily need to do ClickFunnels. If you want to have a funnel, then sure, by all means go to it, but you can build that out in Elementor with basic website hosting from whatever host company you want to use, and then using Calendly integrated with Zoom or whatever chosen software you want to use will work just fine. It's gotten my business to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue by just using that very simple system with no crazy CRM or none of those things, because it's just not needed until you have a couple dozen clients, where then you start introducing things like, at least for my agency, who just started with teamwork, it's going to take a lot of time of getting into building things out. We'll probably do some videos on the channel here about it, as well as my thoughts on the software and everything like that. But don't go out there and shell out a bunch of money for software that you do not need. What I encourage you to do is check out the video I did about the sales funnel that I did a couple months back. Watch that video in its entirety. I explain basically everything that I do for my sales funnel, and that brings in clients very, very affordably without having to use one of these softwares. All right, so the second fatal flaw that I see a lot of beginner agency owners make is blindly outsourcing everything. And this was not really a topic or for the most part really wasn't talked about back when I was getting started, 2016, 2017, 2018, because it wasn't that popular. Fake gurus were still promoting e-com courses, FBA, Facebook ads, or whatever else it was. Now that they've completely burned the audiences on those models, now they're into the digital marketing agency side of things, because it is a very good business. When you get it up and running, it's very, very cash flow positive, very profitable, because it's just kind of relying on your time, and the margins are really, really good. So they've branded it as drop servicing or AI agency or whatever the nonsense is. And they're basically purporting that you just get paid $2,000 a month, and then you just hand over the keys to whatever this white label provider is to do everything for $1,000, and you just pocket $1,000 a month per client, and while you just basically do nothing, maybe just do some emails here and there. And that sounds like a really sexy, fun, easy business model, and that's why it is how it is today. And that's what every single one of these clowns out there is promoting, along with, oh, of course, using Go High Level for $300 or $400 a month or whatever it is, so that way they can get the commissions. To blindly outsource things like that is probably one of the worst ways to execute a business, because of the fact that you're giving up the control and basically the ability of you being able to be a successful business owner and your client's success, because they're investing into your business hoping for a good return, and you're handing it off to somebody else. And yes, there are parts of my agency that are white labeled. However, there are certain things, there's nothing that's 100% on the other party to do. There's still certain things that I want to have control over, because I want to be able to control the success of my agency and my clients' results and everything like that. So things like Google Ads, we still go in and check them. I'm not just letting them do it. I'm making sure that the negative keywords and that sort of stuff, we're not showing up for the wrong searches or anything like that. When it comes to the website, nothing is outsourced except for the actual text content creation. However, what I've learned after spending thousands upon thousands of dollars on content now is most writing services are just, I don't want to say garbage. A lot of them are really, really bad. They're straight up garbage. Some are better, but it's still not up to par for what I want for my client sites. So a lot of it ends up getting edited, and I just frankly just use it as a time saver to just get ideas for what to put in the content, and then reworking it so that way the copywriting is good, so it's going to actually sell this client service to that reader, that consumer that's reading the website. And furthermore, when it comes to just completely outsourcing, whether that's SEO or ads or whatever it is, there are still things that you absolutely have to be well versed in the industry in order to identify these things before they either leave money on the table for your clients or cost your client a lot of money. And I'll give you two great examples. The first with SEO. If you have a client, let's say for example, let's say one of my clients that only does landscape design build services, they don't do any lawn maintenance, lawn mowing, none of that stuff. If there's a guest post article that we had just blindly had written and the anchor text was decided by the white label provider too, if it's all about lawn mowing and the anchor text is about lawn care, but the client only does landscaping, there will be less power coming from that link to the client's website to push them higher and higher in the search results. Whereas if we go in and we say, hey, here's what the title needs to be, here's what the anchor text needs to be, here's what the text around the anchor text should be as well, that is going to give you probably 10, 20, maybe 30 or 40% more gains in the search results, because the content is better optimized. Same thing with the URL structure of the actual article from the guest post. And so then on the ad side of things, let's say we have a company that just does lawn care work. They do lawn care, lawn mowing, fertilizer, weed control, whatever it is. You have to be able to identify or make sure that the white label provider can identify what keywords they should not be showing up for. So for example, the lawn care company that does the work at the client's houses, they should not be showing up for searches such as buy a lawnmower or lawnmower repair or True Green customer service or any of these other ones out here that are completely unrelated, because if they get a click from any one of those three searches, that is not a potential client in any way, shape, or form. And yes, there are going to be times when, and obviously, yes, not every single click turns into a lead, but you want to maximize what your client's ad spend is with their ad. And that's where being well-versed in your industry really comes in handy and gives you a competitive advantage versus the clowns that are out there running around either as generalists or they just don't know what they're doing at all. And everything that I bring up in these videos here on my channel is because I've lived this experience, because I'm going based on what I've done in my whole journey here to build my agency to this point. I've had those times where I see ads are not performing very, very good, and I have to really get in there, hurry up and add negative keywords and reach out to the white label provider and say, hey, this is not a part of what these guys do. You got to go fix that. Or when it comes to just crappy content that's written by low quality writers, I either have it rewritten or I just straight up just rewrite it myself. And ideally, I'd like to have someone, that's probably one of my first hires, will be a content writer, because that's what takes up a ton of time to do it really, really well. So you absolutely have to be on top of these things. And so if you're out there living the passive income lifestyle that's being sold, you aren't going to be able to be on top of these things, and you're not going to be able to be on top of these. You're going to be losing clients. You're not going to be making very much money, and you're going to be frustrated because you're going to be constantly trying to get more and more clients coming in because all the other ones are churning out because of the quality of service just sucks. All right, so the third mistake that I see agency owners make, and this is for beginners, even once you get into it a couple of years, and this is what happened to me, I was straight up just afraid to talk to people. I looked at it as this crazy task, and I was so nervous to talk to them, and all I want to always do email, and that really hindered my progress. And part of it comes from, though, is just fear of the unknown. I had no idea how to conduct a sales call at all. I had no idea what I was doing, not in the least bit. And that's one of the hardest things, frankly. When you get that dialed, like, your life will change dramatically if you focus on it and become good at doing that, conducting sales calls. You can command a very nice price tag for your services and have a very profitable business, as I've been able to do. Also, this will stem from just not having the confidence and the ability to deliver results. And I've been in this position before. That's why I spend so much time doing lead gen SEO and building all these websites, like 2, 3, 4, 5 dozen different websites for just lead gen purposes, was so I could be good and proficient at building websites and getting them ranked, and then also the Google business profile and all that sort of stuff, and also being really immersed in understanding software and everything like that when it comes to what software works good and what's not going to be good for the clients to actually have in their arsenal. And so those two things right there really hinder my progress. I know this might not apply to everybody, but I can almost guarantee to some degree, if you're someone just getting started as an agency owner, you're probably nervous to speak with a business owner, because especially if they're doing 500 or 500K or $1 million a year, you're going to get nervous. If it's someone that's just like at the same level as you, kind of just getting started, you are probably not going to be as nervous, but I know I was for sure. The very first sales calls I had done, and actually I did one in-person meeting too, and that one went nowhere. That was back in late 2016, and that's a story for another time. If you want me to do a video on that, comment down below first SEO sales meeting, and I'll do a video on that, try to do a story on that. But either way, the next thing that I see a lot of agency owners do, and this is what I did, was having no idea what to say. And again, you're still just nervous and you're just trying to get the bills paid at this point. And you get into tech talk. You start talking about the website, you start talking about the SEO, you start talking about backlinks, cost per click. Then they start testing you. And this is probably subconsciously on their end. They're asking you things like, what's your process? What backlinks? How many backlinks are you going to be doing every single month? Or how many employees do you have? Who's on your team? Where are they from? Or how many leads am I going to get? And sometimes this is going to happen to some degree. But another one that I got as well when I didn't really know how to conduct sales conversation was, what is your future plan with this business? And that's because they were worried about the previous agency that worked with that grew too quickly, and they had no account managers or client success managers or anything like that. And so this guy's just grilling me all these questions. And when you sell the right way and you get the right prospects as well that are framed properly when they're coming into the actual conversation that you're having, the vast majority of these problems, 95% of these, go away completely. I mean, you will still get those questions that say, hey, what's the lead potential? What can we anticipate here? And that's a question where you kind of want to say, hey, we're based on the population of the city, this is kind of what you could anticipate once we get to that point. But what we want to focus on is a good ROI. We're not looking at lead volume here, because one lead could turn into a $100,000 project. And so what would you rather have? One lead all year that brings you 100K, or 60 leads that 10 of them turn into $1,000 jobs? I know what I'm taking. If you are someone that is nervous about getting onto sales calls, comment down below, let me know. I just want to know who within my audience is kind of shaky when it comes to that, so that we can kind of better address that here with the content and course and everything like that. All right, so the fourth biggest mistake that I see beginner agency owners make, this is what I did as well, was shiny object syndrome. So basically that's when you're jumping from business model to business model, largely because you end up becoming prey to the flavor of the week business model that whatever the fake gurus are promoting. Right now it's agencies. 4 or 5 years ago, it was e-commerce and everything else. And you're lacking the discipline, the focus, and the dedication that it takes to actually see things through. And when I say this, I'm speaking from experience with this. I talked about it in my previous video, how I was doing Shopify at one point in time and jumping around all over those years when I was trying to get started, trying to do all these different things. You just need to pick one thing and stay at it until it reaches success. And my focus always kind of was on an agency, because I knew that the cash flow would be there. And once it's there, then I can start doing other stuff, provided that I could automate this business to the best degree that I can when it came to staff and that sort of stuff. And you have no business jumping into other business models that are especially completely unrelated, like doing an agency and then also doing Amazon FBA and all these other things that are they're not even the same category. You have really no business doing that, because I know that the trend is the 7 millionaire whatever streams of income. how they became a millionaire, usually the vast majority of the time from the research I've done and that I've seen other people discuss, like especially Alex Hormozi has mentioned this many times, how they actually became a millionaire was through one income stream. They had one business that did really well, that they just kept working at and working at and working at and working at. And so that's the fourth biggest thing that I see people mistake is shiny object syndrome. Back 2016, 2017, I'm going from info product for lawn businesses to e-commerce to YouTube to SEO to whatever else was going, Facebook ads, all this sort of crap. Don't do it. Don't be like me and waste a ton of time on these things. Just stick with one thing. If you're watching my channel, you're probably interested in starting an agency. So just focusing on building an agency, build up that cash flow, and your life will be a whole lot better if you just stick with it and stay focused. So with that said, those are the four biggest mistakes that I see digital marketing agency owners, SMMA, SEO, pay-per-click ads, whatever agency you're doing. These things all apply, and this is what I've experienced over my journey. So if you like this, I appreciate it down below, drop a like on the video, comment your thoughts down below, go down to the description or the pinned comment, register for the webinar that's upcoming, or if it's already out, you're watching this 6 months in the future, check out the rebroadcast, watch that end to end, and then enroll into the training from there. And also be sure to go down below, join our ever-growing family of digital marketing agency owners that actually win with their businesses by smashing that subscribe button, clicking the bell for notifications, follow me on Instagram, join our Facebook group. And with all that said, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.